Okay, so today we are going to make something that I thought everybody already knew how to make, but to my surprise at our last get-together, and then I went to work and was talking about it, nobody knew what I was talking about when I said making your own butter. And I used to do this in school every year when I was in elementary school for our little Thanksgiving feast. So I thought this would be a good time of year to make a video. It is a super fun, easy way to make homemade butter, and the kids really enjoy it as well. So we're gonna start with, what are we starting with, Wes?
The heavy whipping cream. It's so heavy!
It's so heavy.
Help me! It's so heavy!
See, you gotta get the extra heavy so the kids can't pick it up. Alright, so we're gonna just start with heavy whipping cream. Thank you for opening. And you want a jar with a lid. I like to use a clear jar, and you can use a mason jar, you can use any size jar you want. We actually just have a pizza sauce jar that I just rinsed out. So we're gonna go ahead and use the pizza sauce jar. We're gonna pour it till it's about halfway full because we want plenty of room to shake it. So depending on how much butter you wanna make sure you get a big enough jar. All right, go ahead and pour it in.
How?
Till about halfway full, where my finger is.
That looks like spider silk.
Oh no, too much!
Right.
No, just kidding. All right. Put the lid on. Make sure it's super tight.
Better check that.
He's using all his strength, I don't know. And Wesley can't pick up the cream again, he just fell on the floor. All right, and then we just start shaking. You can hear it sloshing around. Don't hit yourself in the face. All right, Wesley, you want to turn shaking?
Yeah.
And you can just even during, just pass this around and let all the kids shake it up during the holidays. Just shake it up.
Make sure you don't hit it.
All right, and then so we're going to continue shaking it, and I'll come back to you when it starts getting to a consistency where you can't hear it shaking in the jar anymore.
Hear that sound? That's the beginning of shaking.
All right, we're continuing shaking. Now listen to this. You're to the point where you can no longer hear it sloshing around at all. Essentially, at this point, you have whipped cream.
Can't see it. Okay.
All right, so essentially at this point you have whipped cream and you can no longer hear it sloshing. So when you get to this point, you gotta continue shaking until it starts sloshing around again, and then we'll check back with you. All right, we're to the point where it is still whipped cream, but it's thicker and you're starting to hear it again. It is starting to come away. We can see it starting to come away from the edge of the jar because it's thicker. And it is very well on its way to turning into butter. So we can slightly hear it again because it's starting to separate from the butter to the milk, essentially. We'll make Brian shake it this last bit. Very soon you're going to be able to hear it sloshing around again really well when it starts separating. At this point, we're about 11 minutes into the shaking process. I mean, it's pretty quick when you have adults doing it, but if you're passing it around a table and you have kids doing it, it can take a good amount of time, so it's kind of a fun activity. Or you can even put it in smaller jars, and then they can each have their own jar and each make their own little bit of butter. It doesn't seem like it's doing much, but it is. Oh, now we're starting to hear the liquid separating from it again.
Yeah, here it comes.
Definitely. Just needed me to do it. Now it's getting really sloshy in there. And you can see it from the outside. It looks like straight liquid again. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. But I'm sure you can probably hear how sloshy it is right now. So we're gonna check. And we're gonna spill it on the table. And it's almost there. We just need to keep shaking. And if you can see in there, it is a nice hard chunk with the liquid around it. We just need to start shaking it a little bit longer. And I did not close my jar tight.
Noisy.
This is a messy way to make butter. Splashed on my neck. Liam did a good job at closing it. Apparently I didn't. You think it's ready? A few more, another minute.
Yeah. No more.
Do you trust me?
No.
I don't know what's wrong with my lid.
It's leaking. Still leaking.
I don't know what we did wrong there. This is the way to get it all over the table. You could even make this, if you're making this at a Thanksgiving dinner with all the family, you could even take your jar from your gravy, if you had a jar of gravy, and put it in your gravy jar. Just rinse it out and pass it around. Yep, I think we're there. Liam is here at the right time. We have gotten everything over here to prepare it. And what we want to do is we want to pour off and strain out all of the liquid from our butter. I'm just wearing gloves because I don't want to get greasy over here at our table. You see, that it had a lot of liquid left.
It's stuck.
Yeah, I'm trying not to bonk you off my shoulder. And I like to save the liquid and use in baking. Try to make sure we get it all out of there.
Use your glue spatula.
Oops. Alright, so, I mean, we probably got a good cup, 3/4 cup to a whole cup of liquid out of this. So we'll use that in making like bread or something later on. Now we want to rinse all of the leftover milk out of our butter. The milk in here will go rancid faster. It'll go rancid faster if you have leftover liquid inside the butter. This is something that you do need to use fairly quickly since it is made from fresh cream and there's no sort of preservatives or anything in it. But essentially you want to just get all the excess milk out of your butter. Now you can add salt. You can add it at the beginning of the shaking process. I like to add it at the end. That way we can, add it to taste because you don't want to add too much. You can also put this in a cheesecloth and rinse it as well and make sure you get all the butter out. So I'm just kind of squeezing it in my bowl of cold water. You want to make sure you use cold water because you don't want to melt your butter.
Yeah. Don't want that.
Alright, so here is my fresh made rinsed butter. We have probably close to a stick of butter there. Alright, let me just get rid of those. And we're going to have Liam want to shake like 3 shakes of salt in there.
Okay.
3 good shakes. Whoop, don't touch the butter.
There.
Alright. So here you have fresh salted butter. Now it's really soft obviously because if you left your butter out on the counter it would soften up like this. And our hands were warm shaking the jar, so it's nice and soft. But it will firm up in the refrigerator. You want to keep it in an airtight container. It will keep, as long as you rinsed it well, it'll keep probably about a week. You don't want to go too much longer than that. And look, we happen to have a slice of toast to spread our fresh butter on. But of course, if you're making this for the holidays, you'll put it on your mashed potatoes or your dinner rolls.
Yeah, I wouldn't waste on mashed potatoes.
Fresh butter. Perfect amount of salt. There you go.
Fresh butter.